Hey, good afternoon.
Greetings.
This is Sunday, October 20th, 2019, and today's video is about a topic that's very important to all of us: protecting yourself in the event of the zombie apocalypse. So today we're going to cover some things like what kind of weapons can you use if you have Huntington's disease? What kind of weapons would be bad ideas if you have Huntington's disease? And here to work us out on it is Alex Tenuto, and we're introducing a new member of our team, my best buddy, and world-renowned expert on zombies.
In no way an expert on zombies.
Bill Braxton. Say hi to the folks, Bill.
I think I already did, but not an expert on zombies.
Yes, but he's here to help.
Also to clarify, I'm Alex from a post-apocalyptic future that will help instruct people on how to deal with zombies.
So Alex, walk us through what we're going to do.
Okay, so I guess we're going to talk about each weapon and then have like a demonstration of either why that weapon would work, why that weapon would work for a normal person, but why it would or wouldn't work for somebody with Huntington.
Good plan. So what do we got first?
Okay, first off, we have the baseball bat, which is a generic weapon. It can be used for bludgeoning, beating, impaling if you're strong enough, and generally it is a very wieldy weapon. Now, if you are a normal person, this could make a half-decent weapon. It would not be the first choice, but it could definitely get the job done in case you need to get yourself out of a sticky situation. This is also a good weapon for somebody with Huntington's to have, because the weight would allow them to swing it a lot more easily, and also it would provide, and also in the event that they accidentally miss and they accidentally hit somebody, it wouldn't hurt them too badly.
Not a weapon where accuracy matters, is that right?
It's not really a weapon where accuracy matters, it just helps.
Excellent.
Does it make a difference whether it's a wooden bat or an aluminum bat?
Not really. I mean, both have their pros and cons. The pros of the cons of the wooden bat would be it could break easily, but another pro would be you could, hammer some spikes into it, and it would be useful as a weapon, and I would know. I've gotten myself out of many situations using a baseball bat.
Let me ask about some other kind of weapons of the same ilk. What about like a crowbar?
Well, a crowbar would be a bit too close range, and also, in addition, it would not help if you had to face multiple in one. It might help if you had, like, maybe one that you had to deal with. It would also depend on, like, what type of zombie you'd really be facing, and how many of them there are.
What about, like, the pointed stick?
Well, pointed sticks have proven very useful, because fortunately nobody was ever actually taught how to defend against them. The people who were zombies, they were only taught about how to defend themselves against pieces of fruit, which means our entire stash of bananas is now freaking useless. I mean, what am I going to do, eat them?
Next weapon down.
Okay, so now that we have covered blunt objects, we can now move into sharp objects. Our first sharp object is the good trusty hatchet. So the hatchet is a very good weapon for close quarter combat. It's very common, and you can also get it from any really outdoor store. Another added bonus to it is hatchets are very good for throwing, because even if you don't throw it accurately, you can still hit something with it, and even if you don't impale it, it'll still probably stumble, which will give you enough time to get in there and finish it off.
I have a question.
Okay?
Does it get slippery if you get zombie blood all over the handle?
Yes, it does. So this is a non-post-apocalyptic hatchet, but there are like grips and stuff that you can add onto it. And my only advice for really using the hatchet, you don't get too attached to it, because I've had several break on me, and I learned after like the 10th one, just stop giving them names.
So
Greg will never return.
So let me ask, you've got the hatchet there, and I see you got something next to it a little bigger, the axe.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Okay, the hatchet's big brother is the axe. And the axe is a bit more of a heavier weapon. I would not recommend it as something that you would try to use right off the bat, because it is a heavy weapon, and one of the problems that you would actually run into while running into combat with this is if you miss a swing and you have to basically either pull it out of an object or get it back up so that way you can swing it again. You're much more open to the attacks.
Now again, for Mike, is this a better weapon or is a hatchet a better weapon?
The hatchet would be a better weapon because if he misses, he can just bring it back around and hit them with this side of the hatchet. But it's even better are tomahawks because they have a little spike on the end. And hatchets in general are pretty good to keep around in case of a huge emergency, but I would not recommend them as a first-time thing.
Yes. Okay. I'm thinking, though, with the amount of weight on that may help out with the Korea.
Yeah, maybe.
So it still may be a decent
The weight
weapon,
would
I
help
think.
with the Korea, and it would be a pretty decent weapon to have, but it would not probably be a first-time pick.
Okay, I get you.
Which brings us into another weapon that cuts saws. Here's a fun fact. The Aztecs had an ancient weapon called the Malachuyutl, which is basically, it's like this, but it's a sword. It's a saw blade sword, and it had like a little obsidian teeth on each side. And
It's a called?
a Malachuyutl.
You're making that up, aren't you?
I'm not making this up. It's an actual thing.
I have absolutely no idea.
Google it if you can spell it. Just look up Aztec saw sword, and you'll get the same results.
All right.
Anyway, so the main point of this, the main point of the whole weapon is yes, they could actually like attack people with it, stab them with it, and then they could also like kick people off and like drag the blade back, and it would be able to deal a lot of damage to them. And another cool thing about the Malachuyutl was the little teeth were interchangeable because they were literally just rock shards of obsidian.
Yeah.
So if one broke, it wasn't a big deal. They could just replace it. And actually, if you were able to make your own Malachuyutl, it would make a pretty decent weapon because it would be heavy enough for somebody with Huntington's to use, and also it cut and the one downside is it doesn't actually cut that cleanly. So if you were to accidentally hit somebody with it, then the cut is going to be really, really nasty.
You know, another thing I think that's an issue with these type of weapons is just, the angle you have to use for the attack. If you're a little off on that angle, you're just not going to give any force there. Really, no cut
Exactly.
at all.
So it's not a great thing, which would kind of bring it into another kind of sword category.
To bring us the machete.
Machete.
Now,
Yeah.
This is not a real machete.
Let me tell you, Uncle Adam, my brother, and asked if I could borrow his machete. And he probably wisely pretended he doesn't own one.
Very wisely.
Sorry, I can't lend you one. Maybe you should go buy one at the costume shop. So that tells you a lot right there. Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. I couldn't bring a machete either because I accidentally left mine back in the future. So we instead have this fake meat cleaver. And machetes are a very good weapon because they're used for hacking. And so if you're somebody with Huntington's and you accidentally miss and accidentally hit somebody, you're not going to be able to hurt them too badly. And if you're actually trying to hurt someone, you can actually hurt them pretty badly.
I'm with you.
Yes, machetes are
Also a limited range.
Yes. Another good thing about machetes is you don't really have to keep them sharp because they're mainly meant for hacking and not stabbing.
I gotta think though, a sharper machete is going to be a better tool.
Yeah, a sharper machete is a better tool, but in the case that you're not able to find anything to sharpen it on, it's not the end of the world.
Hey, what do we got here, Alex?
So we have a sword, which is a weapon that many people would like to use, but I would not.
You'll find it advisable for you.
I would not find it advisable because swords would be exceedingly rare, and actually finding a good one is going to be a lot harder than you think. This sword, for instance, is a special weapon called a cavalry sword that was used by people who were mounted on horseback because it's slightly longer than your average sword to kind of compensate for the horse that they were riding on. So this sword being used in close quarters combat is going to be utterly useless because you're going to be able to hold people off at maybe a more decent range, but ultimately it's going to be a lot harder to switch.
Now, let me take a moment here and ask,
We're just considering this for future use, not if we were transported back into the past, which was more abundant and then attacked by zombies, right?
I mean, if you're thinking about like an Army of Darkness type of thing,
Good question, Joel.
maybe.
Just want to make sure that we're covering all our bases here.
Maybe. I mean, it's not like, if people are just going to use swords and stuff, then why not just bring back the chainsaw stuff and that type of thing?
So let me ask this also, because here we've got a cavalry sword. What about this versus broadsword, and whether or not one would be better for somebody like me?
Well, generally speaking, for instance, long sword, it generally would be, is kind of like the ancestor to the machete. It would use technically more for hacking, and that would be a more ideal weapon for my dad, because it would be slightly shorter, and he would be able to use it a bit more precisely, and it would have a bit more weight to it. Also, in addition, the Nordic steel design was pretty good, and size for
I agree.
Hello, and I guess we're back. I went out and grabbed some more weapons to talk about. So it brings us to our next category, ranged weapons. First off, we have the bow and arrow.
Nice.
More specifically, I have a compound bow with me because that would be the most useful to me. While a regular drawstring bow or a long bow would be useful to use, a compound bow is going to get you the most amount of results with the least amount of effort. In addition, compound bows can be found at basically any gander mountain, which there is no short of here in Virginia. And in general, arrows are very useful because they can be reused, and it's pretty good at a long range. And generally, once again, arrows are pretty common things to find in stores and stuff. So this is actually a pretty good long range weapon to have.
I got a question for you there.
Okay.
What about accuracy?
Oh, accuracy definitely counts for this, but if, you're able to rig up some explosives and stuff on arrows, accuracy is not going to matter a super huge amount.
Now, let me ask you a question kind of about that, and about arrow retrieval. Are your arrows going to be decreased in efficiency if they're covered in zombie guts?
There's nothing a quick rinse can't handle. Yeah, another probable disadvantage of having a bow is, sometimes if you shoot a zombie, it goes down, it's not going to be completely dead, so you might want to make sure that your zombie is actually dead before you're retrieving the arrow, which is what bayonets and stuff, or swords are good for.
Now, are we sure you can't become a zombie by, exposing yourself simply to the zombie blood?
Well, it just depends. If you have an open cut on you and you get a bit of zombie blood to you, then there is a possibility of you getting the virus, but it all really just comes down to immunity and stuff. So just remember to vaccinate yourself. It will be good.
Alright, Alex, so we talked about bows. What do you think about guns, and what type of gun would be appropriate for like you?
Generally, guns are not a very good thing, despite the fact that what any American will tell you. In general, guns are pretty useful, but up to a point. It just depends, because ammunition and other things. Also, the sound of fire could possibly alert other zombies to a nearby area, and what might have started off as just a couple turned into a mob of like 100, which could be a lot harder to deal with. Generally, a pretty good one to use if you just need to deal with like a couple would be a shotgun, because of the huge amount of amount of clustered bullets is just going to be able to allow you to just like explode them completely.
So you don't need to be as accurate.
Exactly, you don't need to be as accurate. And it even works if it's even more of like a shotgun. But legally I can't say.
Again, you'll have to wait till the zombie apocalypse actually happens with the sawed-off shotgun.
Yeah.
It'll be kind of a felony right now.
Yeah, it is pretty illegal.
Now, I have to ask about this one.
Yeah.
Because I think, personally, Bill and I were discussing this. We think this might be the ideal weapon for me. Flamethrower.
Oh, flamethrower. Well, you running into several problems. First off, where are you going to get this hypothetical flamethrower?
I have sources. I know people.
I have yet to run into any flamethrowers. Second off, you're gonna have to find like fuel and stuff for it, and generally flamethrowers seem like they would require a lot of fuel.
Yes, but
I mean, I'm not a flamethrower expert.
They don't require accuracy.
Yeah, they don't require
They don't require accuracy, but you can't. But if you have Huntington's and stuff, and you accidentally drop it, you might accidentally set yourself on fire.
Well, you could die a whole lot of ways in the zombie apocalypse. I'm just saying, for effectiveness, pound for pound, I think a flamethrower is going to be a great weapon for Mike. I mean, again, you've got range. You're going to be able to see where you're going with it. Other people will know you've got a flamethrower. Will see the flames, be able to duck out of the way if they have any brains at all, and and it will have the weight necessary for somebody with the career to still be able to control it. Okay, so I think those are real positive things about a flamethrower. If you can find one and the fuel.
If you can find one and find yourself a decent fuel supply, it would be pretty good. My one advice or recommendation though is fuel tanks are heavy.
Okay.
So you're not going to be pretty mobile with it.
Bonus.
Yeah, I mean, we'll let the zombies come to us.
Come to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Put them on down. I like it. Okay, next category, power tools.
Okay, so power tools, and I know what you're all thinking. Okay, finally, this is a chance for me to use chainsaws. And all I can say is, no, you are not going to be in the next Astrillium. Completely abandoned that thought now. Chainsaws do have their uses because they can relatively cut through things incredibly fast. But if you miss and then you accidentally get stuck in something, it's going to be pretty hard to dislodge yourself.
Good point.
And in addition, you're going to have to, find like a constant fuel source for the chainsaws. And while electric chainsaws might work in maybe like the first couple of years of the zombie apocalypse, eventually you're going to have to switch over to gas. And even then, that's, going to maybe start dwindling.
What about some other power tools? For example, drills, circular saws, nail guns.
Okay, nail guns are, they're pretty questionable on use. If you're able to find a department store and you find a nail gun, just take it with you. I mean, it might come in handy. I mean, if you're just kind of shooting them with nails, I mean, they can't really feel pain, so it might be a good way to deal with them. I haven't had any personal experience yet.
What about just other kind of weapons we haven't talked about here? Just the sort of things you find around. Rocks, shovels.
Okay. For instance, a weapon that I talked a bit about earlier, and I guess I'm going to come back to now, is crowbars. Let's say you want to give them the Jason Todd treatment. Crowbars could be decent to use because they could be used as like a decent bayonet. You can like tape them onto the end of a stick and use them as like a quick spear. And they're actually pretty useful. They can also be pretty useful in case you need to go into any abandoned hardware stores and stuff and gear up. Okay, so final weapon to talk about that's pretty good is the shovel. Now, many people might take the shovel as, something, it's like, hey, why are you using a shovel? Because shovels are very useful. You can sharpen the edges of the shovel and Evil Dead style decapitate somebody with it in close quarters.
Yes, you can also bang people on the back of the head.
Yes, you can also hit people on the back of the head, which is both good for a laugh, and also in case you need to instantly incapacitate somebody if they're being annoying and they're stealing your Cheez-It supply.
Makes a nice bong sound.
Makes a nice bong sound.
Yes, I got you.
And you can also duct tape a crowbar to the end, and then you have kind of like a double-edged weapon.
Like a burglary
and
tool.
then you will become a force to be reckoned with. I would know. I have used a shovel a lot. My shovel has saved my life many times.
Alright, Alex, so we've talked about a whole bunch of weapons.
Yes, we have talked about a whole bunch
And a whole bunch of different categories. If you were going to equip your dad, Mike, with one weapon, what would it be out of all the ones we've talked about today?
Probably baseball bat.
Interesting choice.
Mike, what do you think?
I would have said flamethrower myself.
I gotta go with
If you
flamethrower.
can find a flamethrower, I will let you keep it.
I'd say you got to go with flamethrower if you can find a flamethrower. If not, I would go with the machete. I think the machete has got a lot of power.
Yes, a machete would be a pretty decent weapon to have. You can also use it to cut through shrubbery.
Shrub appeal. That's right. Hack your way through until you find your flamethrower.
So,
Exactly.
one other thing we need to think about, in almost every zombie origin story, the origin is that there's been some experimental medical treatment that has gone horribly wrong.
Yes, that's right.
And Mike, you're going through a lot of experimental medical treatments now.
Yes, that's a fair statement.
You love brains.
I do. Yes.
You kind of walk funny already.
Yes.
What if you become a zombie? What if you were the first of the zombie apocalypse? What do you think an effective weapon would be to use against you?
How would I like to be taken out?
Yeah, I guess so.
I would say probably with a chainsaw.
Really?
Yeah, because it's got good ick factor, but it would also dispatch me quickly.
I mean, you don't...
I don't want to be one of those guys, who's like half there, crawling along on the ground in the woods. I'd just rather be done.
All right. I thought you would go for the shovel.
Maybe a big shovel. A chain shovel.
I mean, it's just the classic bong sound that goes along with it. I mean, come on.
That's true. That would be my second choice.
Hey, if you liked what you saw, like me, subscribe to my page, leave me comments.